So today we're with Chris, who works at Leica, and he has brought a very special piece of technology that I've just been oogling over for many, many years here. As you know, we like to recreate like digital environments in many ways. Sometimes we'll take like an HDR scan of an environment to project lighting and materials and reflections onto digital characters.
So this is the Leica BLK360. It's a 3D scanner using LiDAR. It's also got HDR imagery capabilities. Typically used more in the construction space. So from a single location, when it shoots out, it's got a maximum range of 60 meters, so about 200 feet. So that's in full 360. Essentially, the only kind of blind spot is pretty much the footprint of the actual tripod right here. But anyway, just because that's just from one location.
Oh yeah, well, maybe table life warm.
I know, it needs to sound like that little robot from like the Aliens when it boards the ship.
Wow.
I can give you guys the best example of why this technology is really special to us. When we filmed our Boston Dynamics video, in order to get that robot looking like it's naturally in the scene, we would take our Insta360 cameras and we would scan a 360 HDR of this environment. And that image basically allows us to separate the bright points from the dark points and basically light our scene.
All these scans really don't know where they are in 3D space, so it all comes to overlapping data. So every time we set it up, we make sure there's overlapping data between those, and then essentially like putting a puzzle together. We just have to pretty much help it out a little bit. We just have to pretty much help it out a little bit. So here's an example of a top-down view of the scans we've taken. These chunks, this chunk over here is one bundle that's all been together, and I've got two other scans that have not been registered yet. So all I have to do, I know this was over in front of the airsoft stuff, so if I just hit this link, press this scan right here, we've now got this top-down just between these two, and we'll hit optimize, and just see it snaps them together. We hit create link. So we'll do that one more time with this scan over here. Just get it close to where it should be. Say, hey, register with that one. Hit optimize.
Later, I gotta go.
Oh, dude, are you all right, man? So what's the next step with this? Do we know, or
Well,
like the processing?
Yeah, I mean, for us, like, us next steps, like for what we're trying to get to is like, we're trying to get to having a full version of this model that we can use for upcoming videos, and potentially even to, use as a virtual tour for anyone who wants to see what our studio is like. So, how do we get there? Because this is a lot of data.
Dude,
This is a lot of data. Look at
What we're seeing here, this isn't fully processed data yet. It's just a low res kind of preview image. So
Okay.
the raw data, it's sitting on the BLK, then it transfers it over and just kind of initially does a process to it, because to fully process it can't quite handle that all on the iPad Pro. So once I dump this off onto the laptop, it'll finish processing, and then that's when it'll like fully essentially unzip all the real data. So this is just previewed stuff.
For real?
He forgot his bag.
Move the crash pad.
All right, let's move
Because
now.
like when I come rushing back in to get my bag, like if it's right in the middle of the door, like I'm gonna fall over. Yeah, we'll move it. We'll move it.
Awesome. Well, I guess, so we have to process this data first before we mess with it, because it's just a preview. And then after that, we get to figure out how we want to play with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Next steps to come.
Sweet.
Awesome. Well, cool, guys.
Yeah,
Appreciate
well,
it.
yeah, man, thank you so much for coming by, making the time to come out here.
Yeah.
I know you have a packed schedule showing everyone wants to see this.
Yeah, right.
So I'm really glad we got to do this, and hopefully we can get this out to you guys so that way you can take a look and see what our studio's like without having to fly out here.
Whoa! Oh!
Why is that so squishy?
I don't know if that was a squishy sound more than a fart from Clint. Oh, it smells bad, dude. Oh my god.